scoot just a wee bit closer to the keyboard and the computer so you can hear what I have to say. That way I'm not super loud. Good fine Sunday morning, fellow YouTubers. Godly King Cobra coming back at you with the power of inspiration with another ASMR video. I'm going to make this video short, sweet, and to the point. Now, if you saw my last Pipe Thoughts video, you'll understand the topic when I say women are told to empower themselves all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that is awesome. However, if women are the only ones told to empower themselves, you know what I'm saying? That's not really fair for the men. And some people might say, well, you can't say that argument because you're not sexually oppressed. Bullshit. The reason why it's called unfair sexist treatment is because it happens to both sexes. And if you dig deep enough, you'll see that both sexes do get treated unfairly. Even with history speaking, you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to empower yourself as a man, you need to say these things. I am man. I have my limitations. That does not make me weak. I accept my female counterpart as my equal. That's all you have to say. I am man. I have my limitations. I am not weak. I accept my female counterpart as my equal. And if every man started saying this, you'd be amazed. Because I'm tired of this cliche that all men are just assholes. Right. All men are just pigs. So how is it if a man says he likes big boobs, he's a pig? But if a woman says she likes big dick, she's just having standards. Fuck your double standards. And this is a point I made in my last Pipe Thoughts video. When you sit there and say all men are just pigs, that's like saying all Muslims are just terrorists. And that's kind of an unfair assumption, to be brutally honest. It's an extreme point to go on what I'm saying, but it's the truth. All men are just pigs. That's just like saying all women are just bitches. Women hate that counter argument, but it's the truth. You know, and when you do things that make your sex look bad, it affects every other woman or every other man collectively as a whole. So if one man is treating several women like shit, those several women are gonna say, oh, I hate men and they're bullshit. And it's the same argument for men. If one woman is treating several men like shit, it's gonna be the same fucking argument. Now, it's just like social media. A lot of people are gonna sit there and say, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I see how many people get bullied, and it makes me say, you know what, it's not for me. Dating's no different. When you treat people like shit, you inadvertently affect everyone's experience with it. Yeah. Not gonna lie, I had a little bit of Four Loko, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. That's why I'm ASMRing this mother trucker. Yeah. This would be another Pipe Thoughts video because that's exactly what it is. Now, here's the thing of it. If men everywhere made a subconscious effort to treat women with more respect, even if women don't respect them 100% of the time, you know what I'm saying? Then women couldn't hold that against us. Because I guarantee you, as soon as you treat women like shit, they pull the card of, oh, you're just a typical male. As soon as men treat women like shit, women will pull that card of, you're just a typical male. You're a piece of shit and blah, 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 blah. And that doesn't do men anywhere any favors. So I can be an asshole if I'm pushed to it, but at the same time, I try to be a nice guy because I realize that life sucks and I don't treat people like shit unless they've earned it. Unless they've done something personally to annoy the fuck out of me. I'm not racist, I'm not sexist, I hate everybody equally. I try to give everybody a fair chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to judge people, make friends, or make enemies. I'm here to live my life and make it the best that I can for me. And some people get that, and some people look at me like, who the fuck is this autistic, cynical asshole always bitching about society? Wasn't he a negative son of a gun? Shoot. No, but I overheard two females having a conversation, and one of them saying that men are just pigs. And my response to that was, well, if men are just pigs, how come I'm not covered in mud? You know what I'm saying? And this just spawned from some random moment. I'm getting wands ready to mail off, and one of my customers is from Fargo, North Dakota. I got a kick out of that because I used to live in North Dakota not once but twice, and that was all that was. And people that I was around took it differently and out of context, and it is what it is. Like, I wasn't gonna trip out about it, but got the labels printed, got them taped on there all by myself, and got them mailed off. So now I can begin work on my next batch of wands. However, I have an inspection coming up, so I'd rather avoid working on wands at least until my inspection's passed. Just because when I sand and paint wands, it can make a mess on my workbench. And right now, I'm trying to keep my place clean. I've been doing a little bit of feng shui here and there, getting rid of stuff that's broken, fixing stuff that's broken, and it makes the place look a lot nicer and it opens up the space a bit. You know what I'm saying? And these are things you can do in your life to better yourself. If you have things that are broken, fix them. If you can't fix them, get rid of them. It doesn't do any good to have people in your life that are bad influences, just like it doesn't do you any good to have things that are broken in your life. You're taking up space that could be used for other things, you know. And I want to smoke me pipe indoors. I want to crack the window open so this pipe smoke is sucked out the window. Nice thing about smoking a pipe is you don't have to ash it like a cigarette. All the ash just goes inside the bowl. And then when you're done smoking it, you can just scoop it out with your tool and dump it in the ashtray. So it produces less ash all over the place. And not only that, but pipe smoking is so much cheaper than cigarettes. You get more flavors to choose from. And on a cold winter's day, when your hands are freezing, you load up a bowl of tobacco, you spark it, the wood on your pipe gets hot. All of a sudden, you take your warm pipe bowl, stick it between your hands like that. All of a sudden, you got a source for keeping your hands warm when it gets cold. You can't do that with a cigarette. My final point, if you will, even though it's tobacco smoking period, cigarettes are viewed as more trashy than smoking a pipe, I guess. It's weird that, you know what I'm saying? It is weird, like, because it's tobacco smoking period. It doesn't matter how you smoke it, it's still tobacco smoking. You know, even if you don't inhale, even if you don't puff, even if you smoke this, you smoke that. Well, I don't smoke cigarettes, I smoke cigars and pipes. Okay, you're still smoking tobacco. Even though you're not a cigarette smoker, you know what I'm saying? I am not a pipe smoker, I am a tobacco connoisseur. I chew, I smoke hookah, I smoke cigar, pipe, cigarettes. I'm living my life. I don't give a shit if it kills me, because about damn near everything can kill you anymore. So it's like, why stress about what's gonna kill you, what doesn't? The nicotine helps calm my mind, and even just for the sake of you're not relieving stress, but it's something to do. I have trichoteria, and if I got a pipe in my hands are distracted, so I'm not sitting here doing this. Pick, you know what I'm saying? People get the wrong idea of me when they don't even know me, and that's just because of the way I dress. Which brings me to my final point for this video completely. Is sometimes the way you dress reflects upon what society sees in you. So it could be 108 degrees, and if you're a female and it's hot as fuck outside, so you dress in looser clothing to stay cooled off during the hot summer day. But people see how scantily dressed you are and they assume you're a slut, and it's like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And there are some women who know they're attractive, so they'll dress to attract the opposite sex, and then when the wrong guy looks, he's a pervert. Excuse me, but that's no different than me walking around with a muscle t-shirt and then getting offended when the quote-unquote wrong chick looks. But as a guy, in these modern times, the whole wrong chick looking concept doesn't exist. And the reason why is because society sits there and says all men want is sex. It's an unfair stereotype, but it does exist. And because of that stereotype, it does paint a rather negative picture about men in general. Is it fair? No. But that's our society for you. You know, all you can do is break the stereotype and acknowledge that making the money is more important than getting laid. Money before pleasure gives a man great leisure. Remember that. You want to sit there and say, oh yeah, these beta males who are more focused on getting laid, they'll get the experience they want if they try hard enough. But then they end up pregnant with some chick they don't want to be with, all because all they cared about was getting laid. And it's meaningless, and it ends up corrupting our society with a whole bunch of shit. So it's like, if you don't want kids, then, you know, the cheapest form of birth control is being single. Amen. Amen to that. Yeah. But how is it that if a woman is choosing to be single for a little bit, it's because the men in her life are pieces of shit, blah, blah, blah. But if a man chooses to be single, he's questioning his sexuality. That's called a double standard, and fuck your double standards. Men and women choose to be single for the same exact reason. The people they've dated just weren't the best, or the scene they're in is not exactly the greatest either. You know, it just means you have to be a bit more patient. Now, cobras in the wild do not waste their venom, so humans should not waste their time. Think of time like cobra's venom. It's precious. You can always get more time, but it takes time to make time. You know what I'm saying? Case in point, the cobra can't just, as soon as it deploys a full venom sac full of venom, it can't just immediately reproduce it. It's gotta take time to reproduce it. So my point being is, second point, cobras don't bite unless they are cornered. So my point being, be like the cobra, do not waste your time, and do not fight unless you have to. That's how I try to be in life. And usually people don't like what I have to say, but here's the thing of it. You don't like getting bit by the cobra, but then why the fuck are you cornering it? Why the fuck are you threatening it? Why the fuck are you fucking with it? You know what I'm saying? And most times poisonous snakes will dry bite because they don't want to waste their venom, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? Case in point, when people are angry or upset, they will say things they don't mean to say. But at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's just he said, she said bullshit. And that's the thing of it. Is anybody can go out and fuck like jackrabbits. Anybody can go out and kick ass and take names. But when all you're doing is fucking people up and fucking people, what does that get you? Not a whole lot of friends, dude. I can tell you that right now. Because you're going to have that reputation of being an asshole hound dog. And if you're a male in that situation, you, once again, like I said, you're only propelling that stereotype. And that stereotype doesn't necessarily help anybody. You look at fidget spinners, for instance. These things were used to help autistics and people with ADHD in school concentrate. They could sit there and fidget with the fidget spinner and it helped them concentrate. But then it became a trendy sort of thing and kids were throwing them at each other. Instead of parents being responsible parents and saying, no, you shouldn't do that, they go and make fidget spinners illegal. Wyoming's one of the only few states where fidget spinners are not illegal because people in Wyoming are smart enough to go, you know, instead of making fidget spinners illegal, how about we take responsibility for our actions? Now, this is the thing that pisses me off. Instead of taking responsibility for our actions, society decides to blame the devil for everything. Yeah. Now, the devil is a torturer, yes. The devil tortures pedos, the devil tortures bad Christians, the devil tortures bad people in general. Yeah. The devil is just misunderstood. Much like pit bulls, much like goths. They just get a bad reputation because of the misunderstanding. And it doesn't help when people who choose to act a certain way do things, and then it gives people associated with those things a bad name. Not every Christian likes to shove their belief in people's faces, but the ones that do make Christians in general look annoying as fuck. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? But yeah, this Pipe Thoughts video is about to be wrapped up because it's late, and there we go. It's about 20 minutes long. Long enough to get my point across. Let's scooch back and flex for the camera. Ooh. There we go. if you don't have enough confidence, people tell you, well, you gotta have more confidence. You have too much confidence, and people think you're narcissistic. Sometimes in society, and with women in general, you just can't win. You know what I'm saying? Well, people in general, you know what I'm saying? You can't please everybody. That being said, you try to please everybody, and you know what I'm saying? You end up failing very miserably for it. You know what life's all about? Life is all about hustling and making it happen for you. And then you get a lot of people who are going to hate on you for trying to get your life together. That's because they're too afraid to make it happen for themselves. And when they see someone like you trying to make their life happen for you, you know, people are going to get jealous because you have the courage to stand against the grain of the sandpaper of life. That you have the courage to stand against the grain of sandpaper that is life. And go against the grid and say, you know what, society's kicking me down, telling me I'm a piece of shit because I got nobody to cuddle with at night. Fuck them. I'm more worried about making money. You know, the most annoying thing on the planet, when you haven't had sex in a long time and people remind you of it constantly. Oh, you need to get laid. Like, thanks for noticing I haven't had it in a while, but I'm more concerned about the bigger picture. Why are there people in Flint, Michigan who don't have clean drinking water? Why do people get bullied all the fucking time? This shit pisses me off. I could give 4 flying fucks less about getting laid at this point. You know what I'm saying? 10 months of witnessing society at its worst, and you see that there are bigger fucking problems. And if you can't put that into perspective, then you're a piece of shit, as far as I'm concerned. Like, there's no other way to put it, man. You know, I see people who are struggling a lot worse than I am. I see people who've never even had sex and they're in their 50s and 60s, and I'm like, dude, that sucks. And it makes me grateful for my situation. And when you struggle in life and you see other people struggle, you know what I'm saying? It makes life more relatable. You think just because someone's more successful than you, okay, this person gets more chicks, this person has cars, this person has this and that, blah, blah, blah. But then if you see that person struggle with even the smallest of things, it makes life so much more relatable. So even if your struggle's not as big as someone else's struggle, people do struggle from time to time. It's part of life. And there's nothing you can do about it but try to make the best of it. You know, the silver lining, I suppose, would be the proper term. You know, this bowl of pipe tobacco is just about cashed. Hold on a second. Quite often, parents who have daughters will say things like men are just pigs to discourage them from dating because they don't want their child growing up too fast. I get that. But at the same time, when when your children are at an impressionable age and you're pinning them against each other in this competitive society, I mean, case in point, you look at these beauty pageants. I think it's incredibly disgusting that parents are allowed to force their kids into beauty pageants. Like, I think if a woman wants to be in a beauty pageant, she should be 18 years of age or older, old enough to make that decision for herself. You know what I'm saying? Little girls shouldn't be told that, oh, if you want to get somewhere in life, you have to rely on your looks. That's disgusting. That is fucking disgusting shit, YouTube, but I'm tired of it. I mean, what does that say about our society when women at such a very, 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 very young age are being told that you have to rely on your looks to get somewhere in life? It's so disgusting, YouTube. Like, wait, these words are coming out of a man's mouth. Huh, but I thought all men are just pigs. I know, right? It's mind-boggling. I couldn't be any more sarcastic if I wanted to be. Now here's the thing of it. People are gonna have shitty encounters with other people. You're not gonna get along with everybody you meet in life. You know what I'm saying? That being said, we live in a competitive society where men are told to toughen up. Oh, you gotta cut, rub some dirt in it, you pussy. And women are told, oh, you gotta be tougher than men. You gotta show them boys that you ain't gonna take no shit. And then because of this competitive attitude, it creates a power struggle. So it's not even a matter of, oh, this person has dick and balls, this person has vagina and boobs. It's not even about that. It's the power struggle. And men and women in general are just very competitive. You look at TV advertisements, for instance, everybody's competing for your money and your honest dollar. No, fuck this person's shit. Our shit's better. That's exactly how that works. I'm gonna grab a glass of water. 1 second. This is what I like to call a red pill type video. People watch it. It's like taking it and going, holy shit, I see reality through diamond eyes. Yeah. It's not fair that society has unrealistic expectations for people in general. That creates more problems than it's worth. If you're preaching abstinence-only education and then making teens feel like shit for their bodies, making teens feel like shit because they don't have that special someone, you're putting all this pressure on teens to have relationships and then telling them, no, it's not allowed. And then you shove it in TV advertisements and TV in general. It's, what's the word? A hypochondriac. Or no, oxymoron would be an appropriate word, actually. Yeah. No, I'm trying to find my list of vocabulary here. And that's definitely the biggest oxymoron of them all. That'd be a more appropriate word to describe that. It'd be like, okay, you take Pepto-Bismol and it gives you pink diarrhea, but wait a second, why would you take it? Well, because it gets rid of everything else, blah, blah, blah. That's just a hypothetical. We all know that Pepto-Bismol takes care of diarrhea, but could you imagine living in a world where Pepto-Bismol cured everything but diarrhea and it just gave you massive pink diarrhea? Would you still take it to get rid of your stomach problems? And before, a lot of people would say, well, no, I wouldn't. But think about this for a second. I seen this commercial for an antidepressant. One of the side effects was nosebleeds. And I'm thinking to myself, well, great, it gets rid of your depression, but side effects may include nosebleeds. And I'm like, well, that's kind of counterproductive. I mean, you think there are more natural ways to cure depression. I mean, great, you take this pill, your depression supposedly goes away, but you run the risk of getting nosebleeds as a side effect. That's just exactly my point. So a lot of people would sit there and say, well, I wouldn't take that Pepto-Bismol if it did this and that. You say that, but then look at all the prescription commercials that are on TV. Side effects may include they try showing you some peaceful scenery, and they speed through the side effects as quickly as possible, hoping you won't notice. Here's a couple holding hands in a bathtub. Here's a couple playing with a dog on a beach. Here's some peaceful scenery. Talk to your doctor if side effects worsen, as this may be a serious sign of more peaceful scenery. And it's this clever smoke and mirrors trick they try to do that Big Pharma tries to sell you. And this is the sucky part of it, is Big Pharma charges way too much for their prescription drugs. Most of them contain more side effects than are worth taking, and the ones that don't contain any side effects at all are way too expensive. And people who are sitting there with no health care coverage, scratching their head going, well, I can buy the cheaper shit that's got more side effects. That'll get me by, but I'll have to deal with the side effects. Or I can spend an arm and a leg for pills I can't afford that have less side effects, but do the same thing. And when most people are forced to take the cheaper option because they can't afford a decent healthcare coverage plan, it's bullshit. That's why I'm saying there needs to be a universal healthcare plan for everyone across the world. You know what I'm saying? That would be nice if everyone was universally covered under the same healthcare. Minus, like, if you do, like, felonies and shit, like murder and rape and shit like that, you'd lose healthcare coverage plan. That'd be the only exception to that. Like, it'd just be like owning a gun. Like, you'd lose your right to that if you did something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how it should be. Like, okay, well, you're entitled to universal health care that covers you pretty basic shit, but you commit a massive felony like murder or rape, then you lose that right to health care. You lose the right to own a gun. That's how it should be. But it's not. You know, I mean, the zombie outbreak happens, and, you know, you gotta be thinking the stars that America loves guns. That's all I'm saying. I mean, right now, a lot of people are saying, I mean, fuck mass shootings. That shit is so stupid. I'm so tired of this shit, dude. Like, could we just stop with the mass shootings, please? Like, I'm at my fucking wit's end, dude. If I could pull out every last strand of hair on my head to make mass shootings stop, and it meant I'd have to regrow my hair, I would do it. But that won't do it, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I could physically make it stop, you know what I'm saying? I would yank out every last hair in my head to do it. But that won't. You know. And even if you weren't directly involved with the mass shooting itself, you see how tragic an event like that affects the country as a whole. It makes everyone angry and sad at the same time. And so you have to ask yourself, how did it feel if someone you loved and cared about went through something like that, and you felt the anger and sadness that these people are feeling over such a tragic incident? And you're thinking to yourself, well, that would suck some major donkey balls. Well, no shit. So that shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? That shouldn't make you want to do it. That should make you think, oh hey, wait a second. That would kind of suck if I lost somebody to that kind of thing. That should also be the same argument for a deterrent from suicide and other stupid shit. Is ask yourself, okay, how will my consequences affect the world around me? I mean, okay, so you're pissed off because people don't notice you or blah, blah, blah. You get picked on, blah, 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 whatever. Hate to be that guy, but everyone getting picked on. It's social media. Social media is a fickle sort of thing. Social media is a great power that we let get out of hand, and it's just become the social norm that, oh well, someone comments they like locks on a 1911 video, and everyone in the comment section loses their shit. How dare you have an opinion, you individual piece of shit. But then everyone else has opinions, and then giving someone else shit for having an opinion is the most hypocritical thing on the planet. It's disgusting. Like, of all the things you could be fighting with somebody on the internet, them having an opinion, okay. Unless their opinion is, you know, advocating for stupid shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, if someone went around saying they want hard drugs to be legal, then that I could understand. You be saying, okay, you're a dumbass, dude. What the fuck? That I could understand. But someone having an open, biased opinion, saying, well, this band's alright, but this other band is my favorite, and that gets people attacked in the comment section. And I stop and think to myself, okay, there were bigger issues to attack somebody on. Attacking somebody for having their own open, biased opinion is the stupidest thing on the planet. Life is too short for that shit. Anyways, I hope you're all having a fine Sunday. KINGCOBRAJFS back at you with another Pipe Thoughts video. Thank you for watching. And I'll catch you cool cobras on the flip side.